If you want to follow along while watching the video, or even if you want to practice after watching the video, please go down in the description section. You will find the link. Please use it to download the Excel file, and also use the subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified with the new videos. The last section of this video is how to bring all those objects that we created together to form an interactive dashboard. I already created the title of the dashboard, which I called AAA Bikes Net Sales and Commission. I will go directly to the first pivot table, the net sales and quantity. I will select the entire table, Control X to cut, go to the dashboard, and I'm going to leave one line space between the header and my pivot table, and Control V to paste. I'm going to bring also the second pivot table. I'm going to select the entire pivot table for commission and average price, Control X to cut. I'm going to the dashboard. I'm going to leave one empty space or one empty line after the separation line here, and Control V to paste. Now let's bring the charts. I'm going to the first chart, quantity and net sales, Control X to cut. Going to dashboard next to the pivot table, Control V. Let me bring the other chart. I will select Control X, go to the dashboard, Control V to paste. Now I want to bring my controls inside the dashboard. The first one, which is the slicer, select Control X, coming back to the dashboard. I want to place it here, Control V. Again, I want to resize. As you can see, it's not easy to make it aligned with the grid lines, so there is a very nice option while selecting the slicer. I go to the slicer ribbon, and from the align options I will find something called snap to grid. Once I select this, if I want to move or resize the object, will be aligned 100% to the grid. You can see here if it will take steps with the grids. I want it only on the M, so I'm going to resize to M. Also, I can just resize from the bottom here, so it will take the entire area in the right hand side. You can see here the header is not written properly because I don't use a lot of space, so I can just select, and from the slicer I can go to slicer settings. It will open this dialog box. I can uncheck display header and OK. You can also increase the height of the buttons from the slicer ribbon. Also you can go to buttons, and from the height of the buttons you can increase. I will increase up to 5 and enter. Let's try my control now. If I selected Alex, only this table and this pivot chart will change, and this is not good at all. I want also this pivot table and pivot chart to change while filtering or selecting from the slicer. So this is easy. I can just select the header, going to slicer, and this time I'm going to report connection. I'll find it's only working with the commission and average price. I want it also to work with the net sales. I will just select and OK. Now the 4 objects, the 2 pivot tables and the 2 pivot chart, will work with the slicer. If I want to remove the filter, just right click and clear filter from region. But look what's happening. It is just resizing every time because of the pivot table. I want to just do some settings so the pivot table size will not change with my selection. I can just select any cell inside the pivot table, go to pivot table, analyze, and from options just uncheck the auto fit column width on update and OK. Let me do same in the other pivot table. You can see also some fine tunings need to be done with the pivot table. I can see the filter here and the buttons here. I want to get rid of this while selecting any cell inside the pivot table. Pivot table analyze, you can just uncheck plus and minus buttons. You can uncheck field headers. You can see here is much better. I can do the same for the other pivot table. The last object we need to bring is the timeline. I'm going to just select and Control X, come to the dashboard just next to the title, Control V, use your mouse to resize, also resize down. And also you want to change the timeline connection. I'm going to select the timeline, and from timeline ribbon, similar to what we did in the slicer, report connection, I will check on the net sales. Now everything is working together. I can use these two controls with the entire dashboard, also to have the final look and feel much better than this. You can just go to view, and from view you can uncheck the grid lines, uncheck the headings, uncheck the formula bar, and collapse the menus, and here you go. Very nice and interactive dashboard. You can filter according to region using the slicer. You can filter according to the time using the timeline. Thank you very much for your time. Hope that was useful for you, and see you in the next videos.